bright in my eyes. We're not going to be able to do anything about that in a while, but hopefully the future's bright for Nebraska football. Scott Frost and company certainly believe it is. We're going to talk 2022 and beyond, of course, with recruiting fired up here for the month of June. And we do it each and every time with Greg Peterson, Husker Online. Pardon me. Greg Peterson's here to talk Nebraska football with us.
On three Nebraska.
Yes, on 3 Nebraska. Some habits die hard. I knew that would come out at some point. How's it going today?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
Doing well. Yeah, let's dive right into it. So the dead period started earlier this week.
Yeah.
But still a lot of commits coming in across the nation. And the most recent one with Maverick Noonan. And you're high on him.
Oh, yeah. Maverick, he kind of kept things close to the vest a lot of the time. But, I mean, it was pretty hard to ever believe that he would go anywhere else, especially when, with his dad being a legend here and still with a reputation of being a mean and nasty player and still looks the part. Maverick's he's a high motor guy and reminds me a lot of Garrett Nelson, another local homegrown talent that just loves the game of football and loves to hit people and, edge rusher that Nebraska is always looking for. That's what he's exclusively been doing at Elkhorn South his whole high school career. It's kind of funny. They actually had him playing on the offensive line some last year, just because he's such a talented player and former teammate of Teddy Prohaska as well. So comes from a really, really top-notch program at Elkhorn South here in the state of Nebraska. And that's a big get, especially for, his family's love and support of Nebraska football and this institution that it can only help in recruiting down the road. So, that's just the first of some that I'm expecting to come down here after you mentioned that, all the June official visits are over now. The dead period starts and, Nebraska maximized their time with all the official visits come in, throughout the early summer here. And they did yeoman's work, and the coaching staff, I know for a fact that most of them here are going to be taking some days off here, doing, little family vacations for the 4th of July and stuff like that. And, well-deserved rest for the coaching staff that's been busting their tails. And a coaching staff that with all the new additions that I think has added a special amount of fire and enthusiasm instilled into the program as well. So all in all, it was a really, really good June. And now that, like we said, these official visits are up, you still got now a few more commitments that we're waiting on here to come down the pipe here, come, early July here. That's kind of the thing that a lot of these kids that, these prospects that, when you add in the early signing date in December nowadays, and then if kids are, especially for kids also that are planning to graduate early, they want to get their decisions done and over with before their senior season starts. That way that they can concentrate on winning a state championship and getting their academics all straightened out. Just be on the lookout for, possible another 2 or 3 commits come down here in the next week or so.
So like Moonbot is mentioning here on the banner, is there any concern when you see a player of this caliber, but he's not playing against elite competition or even strong competition?
talking about Noonan?
I believe that is who Moonbot is talking about. Well, he says Western Nebraska doesn't have much talent to gauge him against.
Well, he's played. Elkhorn South is in Omaha. It's Metro Omaha.
It's on the other end of the state.
Yeah. No. He's playing against the best talent that there is, pretty much in the state. I mean, he's playing at the highest level. So, no, that means nothing. He could play at any high school in the country that I've ever been to. He's that good of a player. I just think he's underranked, but I think that rank will come. Now that he's committed and if he shows some more flash. I mean, he's already shown everything he needs to. I mean, I love him. I mean, he's the second ranked player in the state for a reason. So, I mean. Yeah, I'm not sure what else you want to say. There's nothing suspect about where he plays his high school football at and against what competition.
So then the bit of news that hit over the weekend was the failed drug test and the suspension of offensive lineman Nuruddin Noel. Did I pronounce that correctly?
It's Nuri Newellen, actually. Yeah, he's from Germany. Unfortunately, and that hurts for because he's a guy that started the last 7 games of the season last year on the offensive line. He was a former Colorado State transfer. He actually played at Norris High School right here outside of Lincoln. And then went to Colorado State and then transferred back here. But, I mean, he was starting to put things together, and this unfortunately happened. Now, he's still a part of the team. He hasn't been removed from the team or anything. He'll still practice, but he's just suspended for a year. He can't play for a year. That obviously that hurts your offensive line depth with a group that, quite frankly, we've got tons of questions about as we head towards fall camp in less than a month here. You got to think first off that if 100% healthy, Teddy Prohaska is going to be your left tackle, and then you don't really know. I mean, Trent Hickson is the guy that probably has the inside track at center, and you want to think that Bryce Benhart, if he's got it going, then he could be the right tackle, and at guard, you're thinking Turner Corcoran's going to be, the guy at probably your left guard. But the loss of Nuri hurts that, because I thought I was thinking too that you could also might have been seeing Turner Corcoran end up at center. But I don't think that would be really on the table now. And so, it sounds like Brock Bando right now would be in the lead to be your other starting guard. And, we've talked a little bit about Henry Lutowski is a guy that's really come on as a youngster and had a really great spring and everything too. So, I think all eyes are going to be on that room really pretty much throughout fall camp, leading right up to the game in Ireland about, who's going to be that starting five, that core group, and the other backups that are, going to be in the rotation. So.
Got a question coming in from Robert. Appreciate you being here. He's asking about Cameron Lenhart, and if I'm looking at the recruiting information on him, he was just in town looking at Nebraska over the weekend. He's a top 30 edge rusher, top 250 in the country, 6'3", 240. Do you feel good about him? Do you know anything about where he might be leaning?
It's too early to tell with him right now. I mean, all signs point to that he had a fantastic visit here and everything, but I think he's a ways off from a decision. So you got to like what Nebraska did in the job when they hosted him and everything. And kind of the funny thing is with a guy like him too is that you can come here and you can show off the brand spanking new facilities that are being built with all kinds of millions of dollars backing it and stuff, and tell them that your whole career this will be yours here the whole time you're here. And a lot of these guys they've never been here. They kind of comment, it's like, what you got right now is pretty darn good. It's only going to get a lot better. So, Nebraska's, like I said, they did a great job here in June, and really, really impressed a lot of young men. And you got to keep thinking, you got to be impressed with what they did, because they just don't have the wins on the field to back this up. But they're selling the program and selling, what can be here if you get on board. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes, how his recruitment here goes in the coming months.
So our guy James here on the live chat is lining up the quarterback situation. So Casey Thompson's not been named the starter. Most people expect him to be the starter, but there's still technically a quarterback battle going on, and will at some point into August. And then you've got
Chubba Purdy would be.
Chubba Purdy. You got Logan Smothers.
Yep.
And then he's bringing up Matt Logan.
That's Logan.
Oh, Logan Smothers. I got you.
I think he is talking Henrich Harburg. Maybe
gotcha.
Would be the other guy in the mix there.
I was like, Logan Smothers. Yeah.
But as we go,
yep.
if we're moving into, when fall camp starts, it's an open competition. Those are your 4 horses in the race. So obviously you got 2 guys new to the program and 2 guys that have been here. So yeah, I mean, people expect Casey Thompson to win the job, but like we talked about it, even we talked about it last week, that Chubba Purdy looked pretty darn good after he was healthy enough to take part in spring, and he's pretty impressive athlete as well. So, hey, I think those guys are going to duel it out for the number 1 spot, and then I think right now Henrich Harburg had a pretty good spring, but seniority-wise, Logan Smothers has more experience and everything. So I think that's the pecking order right now. And obviously Logan Smothers and Henrich Harburg are going to do everything they can to move up in that order. So, it's going to be a neat competition to keep your eye on.
David Kelly asking about Lamar Goods. I've been checking out on him online. He was signed by Florida back in 2019 as a defensive lineman. I haven't been able to see yet how much he played with the Gators, but he we're supposed to visit along with Kelsey Howard out of Nevada. Do those names ring a bell if you come across these guys?
I know they were scheduled for visits, and I'm sorry I haven't seen much about that, or even if they made their visits or not. I mean, they might not have even made them in my mind, since Nebraska had already loaded up on what they needed there out of the transfer portal. So it could have been like a mutual, just parting waves type of a thing.
So Kelsey Howard, pretty highly rated high school player. So we got 2 different deals going. We got the transfer portal with Lamar Goods looking for a home out of the University of Florida.
Yeah,
Kelsey Howard is the 3rd rated player in the state of Nevada for the 2023 class, a defensive lineman, 33rd rated, top 220, 230 in the nation, who's got a crystal ball, at least in this service, to Oregon State. Nebraska's on his list, though, fairly high, but I don't see an official visit listed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't seen anything about him being here on a visit, so it probably hasn't happened. So, yeah.
Yeah, so the On3 recruiting prediction machine doesn't list Nebraska. It's got 4 other schools listed for Kelsey Howard. 6'4", 260, Spring Valley, Las Vegas, Nevada. And he's a 4-star. And
well, heck, if we do get him, I definitely will schedule a trip down there to watch one of his games this year.
you're going to get that in? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll squeeze that one in.
Yeah, I haven't made that trip in a while, but it's a good one.
Yeah. So I was lucky I got to go to Reno last year, so that kind of it was close.
Yeah, I have not been to Reno. When you say close, does that mean like western half of the United States close, where 8 hours away is close?
Well, I'm just saying it's a close experience to it's about as close of an experience as Vegas as it is.
Actually, I did go to Reno once. Now that it's coming back to me. Made it there once. Yes, I did. Hunter Anthony. James is asking about Hunter Anthony. He signed with the last class, 6'7", 330, offensive tackle. Currently with Nebraska, originally committed to Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
but,
he's
anything in particular with him?
Well, he's a guy right there in the mix, and obviously with Noel and not being eligible now, he's another guy that's expected to step up. He was a pretty good get for Nebraska out of the transfer portal, and if you remember his story, that I think he waited until after Oklahoma State's bowl game, and then told him that he was transferring out of there.
That's right.
And so he's played a lot of games. He's played a lot of games at Oklahoma State. So yeah, obviously that's a big time help. On an offensive line that's pretty young and inexperienced to start with. So yeah. We'll know more when fall camp starts, obviously. So,
very good, folks. And as somebody had mentioned here, it might have been Sam, that we are 9 to 10 weeks away from the Nebraska opener, week 0. So it's coming. It will get here.
Aloha, Sam.
James, rest in peace, Marlon Briscoe. Greg, can you share some insight on the history of the magician?
A little bit before my time, really. I know I'm an old guy, but he's a legend around here. Yeah, a lot of people were mourning that news.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
I've been so out of touch with things lately too. I don't know how he even passed away, if he was sick or what. So
yeah, so he just passed away on Monday.
I just saw your tweet that you sent me last Thursday about tomorrow, just now. So, and I just noticed I missed tons of tweets from my coworkers. So that's kind of where I've been.
Yeah, you've got a lot of things going on. But, Marlon Briscoe, 76 years old. And as soon as I saw that name, not knowing and having thought of him in a long time, yes, the first black quarterback ever in the AFL.
That's impressive.
Yes, 27-11 record with 3 conference championships at Nebraska. Left the school with 22 school records, inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame.
It's a pretty good resume.
Absolutely. Threw 52 touchdowns, had over 6,200 total yards, over just under 5,000 yards passing, which back in the 60s, those are some pretty serious numbers right there.
Yeah. It would have been nice to see him play. But unfortunately, before my time.
Yeah, we are sitting on right around 60 days, something in that range, until the opener against Northwestern. So it's going to make its way here. Yes, when you think about it, yesterday was the 27th. August 27th is the week 0 opener. So, yep, 2 weeks, 2 months minus 1 day. And we'll get there.
Less than a month until fall camp opens up. So there you go. Then we start learning things.
Yes. Yes, it's all speculation right now. Nathan wants to see some black shoes. That's what he's concerned about. Black shoes.
I've always enjoyed the black shoes look myself. I know some coaches will say they make their players look slow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the look you're going for, though. I don't know. But no, yeah. I don't have a problem with black shoes.
Yeah, I know a lot of Nebraska fans would rather see the black shirts come back.
Yeah, those are like my favorite alternate ones that they've done. Is the black shirt ones. I thought those were top notch right there. A lot of the other ones I haven't been, very happy with.
Or the proverbial black shirts.
Oh boy, I don't think that could ever happen. I mean, one time a year is fine, but no, you're not going to mess with tradition. Otherwise, I'd mess everything up for for the actual guys that actually have black shirts that wear them proudly during practice.
Folks, appreciate you being here. Huskers Live every Tuesday. We come your way at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 Central. Please bring your comments and questions there, and we will get to them. And also bring some friends with you. 76 in the chat. And, of course, when we get done here, check out the rest of the video to see what you missed. All right. You know what I'm going to do, since we've got no comments and questions? I'm going back to recruiting rankings here. Where'd we leave this thing off? Probably 2020. I'm going to go to 19.
Oh, yeah.
Why can't I?
Yeah, for you guys talking about Richard Torres, he's still recovering from his knee injury from last year. So he didn't take a lot of reps in spring. So, he's got a lot of learning to do. So I wouldn't expect him to be in the mix this season whatsoever.
All right, Greg, right out of the gate with 27 signees in 2019. You got a couple of good ones right out of the gate. So I'll give you the first 4. Wan'Dale Robinson, all-purpose back. Nick Henrich, linebacker. Noah Poligates, corner. And Bryce Benhart, offensive tackle. Well,
we all know Wan'Dale Robinson's going to be playing in the NFL this season. He was a second-round draft pick, I think it was.
Second round.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that was one that Nebraska was – they even were making him the poster boy for NIL and everything. But Nebraska was forced to use him at running back when he didn't want to take the pounding at running back like he was, and ended up transferring to Kentucky. So, yeah, one of the bell cows of Scott Frost's ever recruiting gets and ends up leaving. So, great kid, great player, obviously very electric, and he's going to be a lot of fun to watch on Sundays. And, Nick Henrich he's a starting inside linebacker and a heck of a football player. Omaha Burke product, and he's been playing pretty well and has a pretty bright future carved out for him as well. So very valuable member of the team. And Bryce Benhart was another guy. He was Wandale and Bryce Benhart were both U.S. Army All-Americans that year. So that was the first time I met either one of them in person, was down in San Antonio for that week. And, Bryce is a big monster of a 6'9", big old bear from Minnesota. And maybe has had a little bit of a dud of a start to his career, but he's still a talented guy. And we're kind of waiting for him to put everything together. And hopefully this is the year for that. And then Noel Gates was the trio, was the third guy that was in that U.S. Army All-American game that year. And he had some struggles as kind of getting used to the culture at Nebraska, and really had struggles of being away from home, and really kind of hurt him a lot his freshman year here, and redshirted. And but he's snapped back. He's never quit. I mean, he had thought times that he didn't want to play football anymore, but he stuck with it, and he's been getting a lot better, and had a pretty good spring, and has put himself in the mix there at safety this season. So we'll see more here when fall camp opens up.
Yeah, Pola Gates not with too much time on the field yet. And to look at Wandale Robinson's numbers, my goodness. 104 catches last year.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
Lord.
If you saw that, you watched that bowl game. I mean, he won. Yep. He won Kentucky that bowl game. He just went crazy in that second half.
Yeah. All right. Our next batch from the 2019 class, we're having Greg run through the classes, kind of give us some context on who worked out, who didn't, and what happened. Our next batch is strong side defensive end Ty Robinson. You got the athlete that became quarterback, maybe wide out somewhere else, Luke McCaffrey. You got defensive tackle Jakeem Green, and you got another athlete in Darian Chase. Yeah,
well, I mean, I forgot Ty Robinson would be the fourth U.S. Army All-American in that class right there, which is also your starting defensive tackle as well. And he started all last year too, and is one of the leaders this year. He's one of the big-time leaders on that defensive line and on the black shirt squad, and he's a hell of a football player, and he's even got a pet camel back home in Arizona, if you didn't know that. Yeah, he's been his career has been pretty much where we thought it would be, as a very talented 4-star prospect coming out of high school.
Oh, and you got Luke McCaffrey in this bunch.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know his story where he decided to go elsewhere, and
he's still in Colorado.
Yeah, he bounced back.
Northern Colorado.
Yeah, I think so. So you haven't heard much from him anymore. And then Jakeem Green was another heck of a good-looking defensive tackle, and he played a little bit as a freshman. Didn't play enough to burn a red shirt, but then he ended up transferring away as well. So strikeouts on a couple of those. And what was the last one there?
I'm trying to think who I was thinking of. Yes, Myrna Matter is correct with Luke McCaffrey going to Rice. Did he go somewhere in between? Then he went to Rice?
He went to Louisville first.
Yes.
And lasted about a week before he got laughed out of the place in the weight room one day. And then went to Northern Colorado. Then I think, she's probably right at Rice then. So,
or maybe I'm thinking of his brother, Dylan McCaffrey, left Michigan and went to Northern Colorado. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, yes.
Well, no, Luke did go there. So.
Oh, he did go to Northern Colorado? Well, Dylan McCaffrey went somewhere as well. Anyway, you also have Darian Chase, if you got anything on him.
I mean, he was a good looking receiver there, but never really made it onto the field, and he became a non-factor and no longer around either.
Yeah, Darian Chase. Yeah.
Yeah, Moonbot, I was telling him that too.
Darian Chase this past season played at Portland State, caught 54 passes, 4 touchdowns.
There you go.
That's where he landed.
Mazel tov.
All right. Our next batch coming in, we got Damarion Houston, the wide receiver, Jamie Nance, athlete, Ramir Johnson, running back, Chris Hickman, tight end.
Well, first two no longer around. Ramir Johnson obviously was the starting running back until getting hurt, but he's back and ready to go as well. And he's right there in the mix to be the number one guy again. But it's going to be a competition every single day. Chris Hickman was he was Nick Henrich's teammate at Omaha Burke, and he's one of the Nebraska tight ends that was actually available to play when other guys weren't a lot. And he had a few big plays last year. He had a couple of nice catches, and I think he's been steadily getting better year by year. So he's a valuable guy to have on the roster, obviously.
Yeah, Chris Hickman's caught 5 passes in a career, 1 against Maryland, 1 against Rutgers, 3 last season against Buffalo. Then we move it on to outside linebacker Jackson Hanna. You got Ronald Tompkins, the all-purpose back. You got Dedrick Mills, of course, at running back, and Miles Farmer at safety.
Yeah. Well, I can go reverse order here. Miles Farmer, probably going to be one of your starting safeties. He played a lot last year as well. Dedrick Mills has graduated, but, he was the starting running back and played very well while he was here. Who was the second one on your list?
Ronald Tompkins.
Ronald Tompkins. Jury's still out there. And then Jackson Hanna never got any playing time. The kid out of Nashville, and he finally transferred out as well. So,
okay, I'm going to say out of this next batch, nobody rings a well. I take that back. 2 guys, one's a big standout, and the other has significant playing time. So we got safety Quentin Newsom, strong side defensive end Mosai Newsom, weak side defensive end.
No relation.
Jermaine Graham. Yes, no relation, no E at the end. And then you got Garrett Nelson at D end.
Well, yeah, Garrett Nelson's the leader of the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a special one there. And
so not to cut you off, Greg, but this shows you we're looking at the 3, 6, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20th ranked player in a class of 27. And he turns out to be arguably the best, probably the second best to Wandale Robinson.
Well, he's also played at Scotts Bluff. So, I mean, nobody ever saw him in person that was an actual analyst besides myself and my coworker. But then you got Quentin Newsom in there too, who's another starter too. Yeah. So I mean, you still got a lot of guys that came out of this class that are still valuable members of this team right now, and are going to play a lot of snaps this year.
Next up, of course, the further we go down the list, typically the less known these guys are, of course. Javin Wright, corner. Garrett Snodgrass, athlete. Michael Lynn, offensive tackle. Brent Banks, tackle.
Yeah, a lot of them are backup players, but they're all. I mean, besides Michael Lynn, he really hasn't shown that he's got himself into the rotation. The kid that came out of Denver and really just hasn't got much of a chance while he's been here. But Brent Banks, he's a little bit higher on the depth chart there on the offensive line, and he has a chance to make some noise this year. And you got Garrett Snodgrass, who he's trying to win that starting nickel spot there that JoJo Duman had been playing, and Garrett's played some meaningful snaps last year, and kid out of York, Nebraska, and got a younger brother right now that's a senior coming up, and these guys are all guys that have been contributing. So yeah, it's kind of funny when you're finding them down at the bottom of your list there, but yeah.
The final three in the 2019 class would be Matthew Anderson, the offensive tackle, Ethan Piper, D tackle, and Jimmy Fritzke, tackle.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan Piper. Ethan Piper's a guy that plays quite a bit,
Yeah. I know that name.
We knew, and we knew he was going to be a valuable guy when he was coming in. We didn't know if it was going to be on the offensive side or the defensive side, but he's played a lot of snaps on that offensive line, and definitely he's a very valuable backup to have. So. Out of those guys, he's the only one that's really had much of a chance.
Okay. There it is, folks. Greg's review on the 2019 class. Ranked number 18 in the country at the time.
Which is funny that those guys would still have extra eligibility.
Yeah. There's still a year left for those guys with COVID.
2
years?
Yeah. Whoa. That's never happened.
2019, 20, 21, 22. Okay. Yeah. With a red shirt.
Yep.
All right, folks. I don't see anything else left in the chat that these folks want to kick around. We're talking Huskers every week with all of you, and we want to blow out this show to be as big and as good as we possibly can. We've got, as was mentioned here in the chat earlier, 9 more shows until opening day, noon Eastern. What's that going to be? That's going to be like 7 o'clock at night in Ireland, something like that. They'll play a night game, right? For it to be noon Eastern here.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Do you have any idea how early you're going to leave for the game?
From here?
Yeah. Will you leave what, 2 or 3 days, 4 days before?
Well, we're same schedule as the team. We'll be down there the whole week.
Okay.
So, yeah, we show up. We'll probably be there before the team arrives. So that's how we roll.
Very good. Very good.
Yep. First ones to get there and first ones
it's exciting to think about. Yeah.
I feel sorry for one of the local sports directors here at one of the Lincoln channels that they always do a special with all their anchors and stuff where they always send them on a trip somewhere.
Yeah.
For a tour agency or travel agency sponsored trip, so they're sending him on Ireland. And so he's got to be there for 3 weeks. He'll be there 2 weeks or he'll be there 2 weeks ahead of the game week. So, and have to be doing, it's all scheduled, it has daily things that he has to do for that travel.
Oh, was that like either a producer or a photog to get like pre-prod stuff out of the way? No,
well, I don't know. He'll be doing double duty, I'm sure. So yeah, he'll have a photog with. I don't know. That's expensive, really expensive for them to send. I mean, this thing that's just a paid for deal. And, you know, he has to honor his commitment to, you know, because it's something that they run all the time for, you know, sometimes it's Alaska or wherever. So
Yeah.
it might be the weatherman that has to go, him and his wife go on this, and, you know.
Okay.
So I'm sure the week of the game he'll probably have to work actually instead of you know, do all the tour guide stuff. But my point is that 3 weeks would be a little bit much.
Yeah.
Get me home.
Yeah, it's nice to travel, but I can do without living out of a suitcase for too long.
Yeah.
Folks, we've got to the most people that we've had in here for the full 50 minutes or so at 108. So you know what that means you need to do is wait for the video to post. Should take only a couple minutes. You should be able to watch it start to finish, get what you missed. And number 2, be on time next week. Join the conversation early. Be here at 6 Central next Tuesday as we talk Nebraska football with you and bring some folks with you as well. We post this link on about 5 or 6 Nebraska Facebook pages that have been nice enough to let me join their Facebook page, even when I said I'm not a Nebraska fan, but I run a Nebraska channel. When they start asking me questions about being a Nebraska fan, I answer all the questions about who my favorite player is and all that. I'm very honest about, I like this and I like that and I like this player and that player, but then I say, no, I'm not a Nebraska fan. I'll be honest, but I run a Nebraska channel. We want to post our links here. So they've all said yes. So we post those on Facebook to try to get some more folks in here. So for those of you who are on Facebook group pages, let them know that we're here every Tuesday. All right, man. Well, thanks for making this happen again, as always.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And track Greg there on Twitter. You saw his handle right there. Greg Peterson too. Find him right there. All right, sir. Well, have a great week. We'll get back together next week.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. I have finally wrapped up my day after like 4 or 5 of these, and we'll be back next Tuesday. And between that time and now, I think the next show is Wednesday at 5 with some Michigan football. See you then.